certainly it changed the career, it changed the number of people who knew me, it changed the level of recognition I had just when I was doing simple things like walking down the street. And it all happened very, very quickly. It all happened in a period of about maybe a month. And as I mentioned yesterday, it definitely was challenging to go from complete privacy, just I was born in New York City, so it's very weird because there are millions of people in whatever seat you want. You can always get a reservation, get into all these cool clubs and stuff like that. So there certainly were positive things about it in terms of access, being able to go places and meeting interesting people and stuff like that. But it came with a price, I'm generally a pretty private person, and so that sense of privacy pretty much is. 1 second, Mrs. Deagle is being, catapulted through the window, and you're going, oh my God, the grandma's just murdered a person. But then it cuts, and you see her red shoes, so she's like the Wicked Witch, and then it cuts to the grandma's go, and then you laugh at it, and you realize, oh yeah, it's a movie about murder monsters, I can't get too upset about it. So it did really nice tonal things like that, where it would go from horror to comedy. Whereas the second one really just was kind of an all-out comedy. There was no horror. I remember watching it and going, there's like 5 seconds where it's kind of scary. Which is one of the reasons why when people see, especially as kids, when they see the second movie first, right, now that they've both been out for decades, if you see the second movie first, you prefer it. Because you go, oh, it's so funny, and this and that, no, that's Gremlins, and the silly stuff, and the slapstick, and everything. And then they see the first Gremlins, and they're like, wow, this is dark, and kind of nasty, and has a mean streak, and we're like, yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to kind of be, what did Hoyt Axton, the actor who plays my father, called it? He said it's E.T. with teeth. That's what Gremlins is supposed to be. It's supposed to be the flip side of E.T. It's not supposed to be E.T. Again, we already had that, And Gizmo's supposed to represent us and how in both of us there's the good and the evil and the bad and the potential to do bad, right? All it takes is a little bit of water and a couple of pieces of fried chicken after midnight, and the terrible person comes out. So that's what's kind of nice about Gremlins, is that it shows the duality of being a human being, how we want to break the rules. Deep down, some of us, all of us, want to break the rules occasionally and destroy things and be terrible and get drunk and smash up towns and stuff like that. Especially after you lose in the European Cup. But we don't. Most of us hopefully obey the rules, but that doesn't mean we don't want to. So it's that struggle, I think, between being a good person and obeying the rules and being a decent person, and then being, a crazy person. That's a very human struggle. I think that's why the movie resonates to so many people for 4 decades now. For 40 years since it came out this year. So obviously there are certain universal themes that I think people really respond to.
What do you think, why did they change the tone in that way? Because the first one worked, obviously.
Right, well, I can tell you exactly why, because Joe Dante said, I don't want to do don't want to do Gremlins 2 and make it the same thing. I already did that movie. I want to do a different movie. So if he was going to go through all this struggle of doing a second movie, didn't want it to be just a Xerox or what a dated reference. He didn't want it to be a copy of, the first movie. He wanted it to be a completely different experience, which it is. The problem is, of course, most people go in going, walk in saying, I can't wait to see more of the same thing. Wait, what is this? This is very different. This isn't what I expected and what I wanted and what I paid to see. And so he creatively, I think he's very happy with Gremlins 2. But in terms of living up to people's expectations, you can't really say it was a success. It was kind of more of a failure because it was just too different, too radically different, and too quickly for the audience to catch up with it.